Hi, welcome. This is Shaleen from the Financial Express. We have with us Mr. Vikramjit Singh Sahni, Chairman Sun Group and President ICC. Sometime back, you said that the focus will be on ICC's focus will be on supporting government initiatives to promote relationships between US and India. How's that progress going on that front?
No, I think we as you know, ICC supports multilateralism, and we are supporting Government of India's move, because we all know that US is, of course, for fearing the loss of jobs and economic growth and migration and a whole lot of issues. Trump administration is some sort of advocating the unilateralism or some sort of inward looking, and of course they have issues with China, but US have surplus balance of trade, but then China also, we have adverse balance of trade, so India is in between. So we have requested US for level playing field, because India is a large importer of even defense products, aviation products from US, and we want US to open up, and because we don't support that US putting duty on some of the Indian aluminum and steel products, and then of course India had to retaliate on 15% duty on some of the primary products, and some of these products are even edible fertilizers, and US is also will stand to lose, because US also exports a lot of edible things like food items like almonds or whatever, apples and fertilizers and so on and so forth. So we hope that good sense will prevail, and some kind of a comprehensive strategy will be worked out between India and the US. And of course, India is also have to work out a strategy with China, and that was one of the main reasons why India walked away from RCEP, because of course India's concern for services was not addressed. Although India has a FTA we have with ASEAN, but of course the RCEP is a much bigger thing with Oceanic and Japan and Korea. And very interestingly, 3 days back, Japanese government have also supported India's move. So I think there's a trade dynamics, and India is supporting WTO also. And now, very surprisingly, US is not supporting WTO. Even I'm told that US is blocking the nomination of judges to the appellate body of WTO, and 3 judges are there, and 2 of them are retiring, and 1 judge cannot run the court. So we fear the WTO appellate body tribunal proceedings coming to stand still in early 2020. So these are, I think, India's genuine concerns.
I'm glad that you mentioned trade deficit with China as well. That was also one of your agenda points when you took over as president of ICC. We haven't seen much progress on that front.
No, when the Chinese premier had come and had a retreat with the Prime Minister Modi, we had 120 companies of China coming in Delhi, and I chaired that session. We were signing MOUs for export of various kind of food products, relaxing quarantine conditions, chemicals, and whole lot of products. And also China committed joint ventures, even things like mobile phones, as you know.
Yes,
so some sort of technology transfer, at least those agreements are now in place. So we have to see how much, no, but it was just 2 months back.
Sure.
So we have to see how much will be translated. But I know China is very serious. Even they have instructed to their provincial government. But at least India also have to take, our private sector also have to take proactive steps. We can't just leave to the governments. But all these agreements were signed with good intention just 2 months back.
Even if a decent proportion of that were to materialize,
Yes.
do you think it would be enough to bridge the trade gap?
No, it will not be enough. We have a wide trade gap, but at least it will be one step in the positive direction. And with Chinese technology coming in and joint ventures and strengthening our Make in India program, I think Indian industry also, our productivity will also increase. So India will benefit in indirect manner also.
There's a growing protectionism across the world. So many of the governments have been elected because of their nationalist credentials. Do you think that's the kind of barrier to international trade, or a concern on international trade?
Yeah, it's very much concerned, because global trade, even IMF have said, is shrinking. And they say that even global trade will shrink by 1.2%, and there can be loss of $600-700 billion next year. This new trend is coming only we see in the developed economies, because they fear loss of jobs and migration of people and low quality jobs. But I don't think this is a solution, because if you have protectionism, your investment will go down, your industry will be not very competitive because of the lack of international competition. So I don't think this is in long run a correct solution.
Sure,
this is better what India is doing. At least India, you see, is opening up the economy, but at least sensitive sectors can be protected. Like let's see the India, and now all the emerging economies, we had deliberations in BRICS, for example, Brazil, Russia, China and South Africa. They are also reasonably opening. These 5 emerging economies are also cooperating, and we have seen BRICS Development Bank, and this I think BRICS is a very, very ideal example of success, reasonably successful model, I would say, reasonably successful model.
Coming to domestic issues, you have done a lot of work in farm sector and fertilizer sector. There has been an agri distress for some time.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? What are the issues that are plaguing that sector?
We are very much concerned with the stress in agrarian sector, because 60% of livelihood of our people still depends on agriculture, and we see news of farmer suicide, and even fertilizer companies are under stress, we feel. So I think government has taken innumerable steps like MSP. For example, the minimum support price to the farmers. I personally feel that scheme should be enhanced, should be enlarged to cover more items, because if our farmers will get 1.5 times the revenue of their cost of production, a lot of issues can be addressed. And I don't think this debt waiver, writing checks, and this is again a populist measures like you said. So I don't think that will solve the problems. Supporting the farmers, now government have also started the direct subsidy transfer. We welcome it, because let us get the industry out of this subsidy. The subsidy should go to the consumer like the farmers, and MSP will surely help if it is administered properly. And the knowledge of the knowledge of crop rotation. And lastly, we have to make small cooperatives or small like cluster based and then the group of farmers, and we have to relate them with food processing and food preservation. As you know, in India, about 70% odd gets wasted. And we have seen in BRICS like South Africa, it is other way, 74% gets processed. So if we can save our agriculture produce, preserve it, there are a lot of incentives by government, but somehow I've seen it is not catching up at the ground level. Food preservation, processing, and the whole value chain link is still missing. There is a lot of we can unleash that potential.
So this solution is a very long-term solution. What we are talking about is farmer distress is now, it's present, and as regard to MSP, that was declared, but from what I read, it's not going anywhere. Even the crops on which MSP is declared, there is not enough procurement at that prices.
So this is what I said, that whatever government have announced in the budget, the previous budget and this time FM's budget, this is what I'm saying. I don't know at the field level how much is being, this is what exactly I said. If it is implemented in its right earnest, it should address the agrarian crisis.
What do you expect?
And not the debt waiver.
What do you expect in the upcoming budget from the finance minister?
I think they have already lowered the corporate tax, and I think FM will suitably incentivize, because they have put a very high tax on high net worth individuals. And so there's a general feeling, I feel people, because I have no hesitation in saying people want to become NRIs and go, and I see most of the big industrious families, if you count, mostly we hear. So I think government should somehow take these high net worth individuals, companies, corporates into confidence, and should encourage or should incentivize them to invest in India. I think Indians are investing more in Africa or Latin America. I know scores of Indian companies. So I think a dialogue has to be kept, where Indians, they have got a lot of investment capabilities, but maybe Indians should be encouraged to invest in India, because we had also seen many Indians who invested in power sector or they also faced headwinds, and then that resulted into NPA. So maybe that was deterrent. But now government has done very well in clearing that mist or air, and now banks are cleaning up, and infrastructure, housing sector is clear. And I congratulate government for infusing thousands of crores to revive the housing sector. RERA is good. And then the other sectors are also catching up. But Indians must be encouraged to invest in India. That is the bottom line.
What about farm sector itself? What do you expect on that front from the government, which can remedy some of?
I think it is very clear. MSP program being implemented at the grassroots level through procurement agencies, and
budget item.
And then it has to be done at village level or some cluster level for food preservation. Then only farmer will get, and then guiding them on doing more horticulture items. And so then only if we link their produce of 100 farmers, 200 farmers with some city center. I think every state government has to make 200-300 centers in their state. Then if farmers produce go directly without any middleman, they will get better realization. So these are my suggestions.
Prime Minister promised doubling of farmers' income. Are we anywhere near that goal?
No, I think lot needs to be done, but it is good because as they say, you have to dream high to reach there. So at least we are happy that Prime Minister is concerned with the farmers, and he has not only said doubling farmers' income, he has also committed house for every farmer by 2022, and roads are being built. So a lot of work is being done in the rural areas, So, but there is still long way to go. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.